Now, the last time we worked on the wheel, we did the final prep, cleaned it up, did the final sanding. It's pretty much ready. I did all the back masking. And now the only thing left today is, and we've finally got a day where it's, I hope, going to be a paintable day. Really cold, but paintable. I want to cover the entire stand with ordinary tin foil. What it does, it just makes it easier for me to do the cleanup. When we're totally done with the part, I usually take the stand, take the tin foil off, and then take some acetone and clean it back up, because this is a tool that I've used so often, and I really have gotten, I always thank Pokey for donating it, but it's really been a useful tool, and I don't know how you could really paint a wheel without it. It makes painting a wheel relatively easy. Now, this has been such a good tool over the years. I really hate to get it all disheveled looking like me. But it's a relatively simple thing. You can go right over the wheels and everything, since we're not using it as a balancer. You can just wrap. It's like you're wrapping a turkey, I guess. And it's several years now. We've gotten a lot of good use out of it. I really have to say, I have tried in the past doing this. Actually, what I'm going to do today, painting a wheel on the end of a broomstick or a pipe or a PVC pipe. And yes, you can do it, but is it a lot easier this way? You bet. It's not even close. Now, and the most important part, of course, is I don't want to get the bottom. Kind of a simple thing, but something maybe, if you didn't think of it, you might not be able to take advantage of that. Now, another little tip I can pass on that I think would be worthwhile for anybody. No matter what camera you're using, if it's really cold like it is today, and I think it was I just looked at the weather, it was 18 degrees. So what I want to do is I want to take the camera outside 10-15 minutes before I actually start shooting. Otherwise, the camera tends to fog up from humidity. So I'm going to put the camera outside and mix the paint. Now, we're out here early enough to hopefully beat, it's really cold, but beat some of the wind. Well, I don't know if that's going to be the case. The idea is to get a lot of thin coats on, especially with this paint, rather than try to blow it on in one heavy coat. Even though we're not going to see in there, I know you do see the edge. I think you do anyway. I guess we'll find out. And the idea is if you get it on really thick in one coat, you run that risk that you're going to get a big run somewhere, and that kind of not what we want to do. The thing with this paint that I learned, lots of thin coats is the answer. And I'm just going to let each coat just sit there for a few minutes, let the sun keep spinning the wheel. By spinning the wheel, there's no chance we'll get a run in this material. Let that sit for a minute or two while that's drying. I'll flip it over to the other side of the wheel. Lots of thin coats. This paint is so thin, but it's such a beautiful color that if you try to get it on all in one thick coat, I think you lose some of the gloss that way too. The flakes don't sit up just right. But when it's done right, I think it's a beautiful color. And what's more important, Karen likes it. Karen loves it. We're on a roof. And it does take extra time to do it this way. It takes a lot of extra time, in fact. But I think the result when you're done, and I've really waited for a day when the sun is shining, because this color in particular, I want to be able to see the flakes. Setting the flakes at a nice high angle. And it really, as that color starts to develop, that's just probably, we're going to need 2 or 3 more coats. Now everything's got one coat on it now, a full coat. That's starting to really look nice. That color, after you put the second, third, sometime the 4th coat, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you put the clear on, totally changes it, makes it really pop. Really worth the effort to put all these thin coats on. Now actually the only bad side of today is your hands get so cold you can't really feel the spray gun. And I've tried using woolly gloves or whatever, not happening. Not happening. So from this point on, this is really going to start to show nice. The color is really going to come to light. And I was thinking of another thing I could do to this wheel that I didn't do in the past, is do that flat black thing on that inside part of the wheel. And we'll see how that plays out, if that looks like a choice. Always looking for something that's easy to do, not a lot of money, and changes the whole look of the bike. For the better, hopefully. Not always, though. Sometimes you do cross over the edge. That's for sure, even I do. All right, that color is really starting to come out the way I like it. And the reason I picked this color, I know if GM made this color for cars, it's not going to be prone to fade like some of these real high-end fancy paints. They fade in time. And I've looked at the Camaros that are at the cruise nights that are a couple of years old now, 4 or 5, whatever amount of years they are. And that paint really looks good years later, so maybe this is going to be a good choice. Oh, and I didn't even mention this paint is about 1/10 of the price of the real custom car paint. So we waded through some minor snow, through some nasty weather, but it looks like we finally have our color. Now all the green is on. What I'm going to do, of course, this is going to dry in this cold weather about an hour. In fact, you know what I think I'm going to do? Just because it's so cold out here, I'm going to bring this inside and just let it warm up just a little bit. We got to have a cup of coffee and then come out here and shoot the clear. And it looks like we're going to steal this day and beat the snow again. We don't always win, but today I think we're going to win. Now again, in cold weather, cold temperatures slow down the drying of paint. But what they do, they let the thinner penetrate just a little bit better. So all these thin coats now are getting the same penetration as if I put on wet coats. And I'm looking for any little spot. Oh, fluorescent lights show a lot more. If we missed a spot, if there's an error somewhere. But now, because we put thin coats on, the flakes are sitting at all little crazy angles. And as soon as I put the clear on, that color is really going to pop. And that's what the technique I use to paint the bike itself. So and it's actually coming from the same can of paint. It should be a really, really nice match. Now we've pretty much settled on in the past, well, a couple of years anyway, that this was the clear of choice. And it's available on the internet, available from body shop supplies, relatively inexpensive. There's clear coats that are 2 and 3 times the price per gallon, and I haven't found them to be any better. This is really a good clear coat. And you never really do beat the weather around here. The wind is already kicking up. It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Another thing, I don't want to get a lot of paint around the edge because that's where when the tire gets pushed over, even though we do it without a tire iron, it still does take a beating. Now you can have some idea how that color is going to look. Oh, that's going to look beautiful. Wow. And all that prep that we put into it, all that extra prep and sanding and everything, now you get to see the final result. Is, you know, this is not going to pick up a stone and all the paint's going to fall off. Oh, wow, that's going to come out beautiful. Wow. Now I'll let this sit out in the garage for 24 hours and then bring it down, put it under a heating vent for a couple of days, and we'll be ready. Actually, I got to order a tire yet. And then the final thing is, and for me it's a big thing, I'll just hold this up by the bike, see if I like it. And if I don't like it, while I have it just like this, paint it a different color. Paint it orange, paint it purple, paint it something. Anyway, we have to order the tire. That's the next step on this. And hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.
Ready to the